just like to say it's an honor to come to Virginia and play in this, I guess, this historic program. I understand that God blessed us with the opportunity with Coach Bennett before he retired to take a home and home. And that was more in our favor because he didn't have to do it. And to be able to come here, knowing it was going to be an extremely tough game. You don't win in this building. I've watched them play over the years and marveled at how they do things. To be able to bring my team in here and get a win is phenomenal. I thank God for the opportunity, though.
A lot to talk about tonight, it feels like. P.J. Ager scoring 21 points in the second half in 20 minutes, I think. But you guys, I guess the biggest thing about tonight was being able to get into your press in the second half.
Yep.
Shots started falling, and you're getting to the free throw line, and couldn't do that in the first half because the ball just wasn't dropping. Yeah,
it was hard to. They did a phenomenal job, and we knew this. I've studied this team for years, even before I started coaching, because I wanted to know how special the pack line was because they're holding people to these crazy numbers, right? And then I've been a part of it for 2 years, and I understand why. The guys that haven't played against this program, you just don't get it until you get in the fire. And when you get in the fire, it's way more difficult than you expect because they're in the gaps, they're in the pack line, they do it consistently every single possession. And when you're not used to that, you're going to take bad shots if you're not doing it the right way. And I knew that, and I was hoping that we could overcome that, and we didn't in the first half. Second half, the pressure got us going to where our energy got up and our confidence got up because we had lost confidence a little bit because it's hard to score against those guys. Once we started pressuring and getting them to turn the ball over, then we started making some shots.
Taine, if I say his name right.
Taine Danger, yeah.
He was really efficient on the offensive glass. Can you tell you about that? He was keeping the ball alive for y'all, especially on close possessions.
Yeah, that's a big deal for us with he and Musa and Nick talking about offensive rebounds, that they crash the glass and stay in there because second possessions are a part of what we need. We're not going to shoot the ball well every night. We got 3 high-level scorers that can make difficult shots, but most of the time that ball, is going to carry them off, and they got to be there to try to give us a second chance. And Taine did a phenomenal job when he first came in the game. He had 7 offensive rebounds, his best game by far on the glass, especially the offensive glass, and we needed every last one of them.
Were you actively more selective with your three-point shots in the second half? Because the number of attempts went down considerably, and you only had 1 attempt for the first 12 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, what we did was instead of driving the gaps and trying to get tough threes, we ran offense. Moved the ball from side to side, from strong side to weak side, kind of got them in rotations a little bit in movement, and then those shots came easier. You can't just drive the gap on this team and then pass it. They're going to close out, contest, and we did a lot better running offense. The first half, we kind of made it up, and you can't do that against these guys.
What can you say about P.J. Haggerty that you haven't already said?
I just marvel at his greatness from the point of view of he just finds a way. He can be shooting poorly, and then it can just click, or he can come out right away on fire, and he stays on fire. He just understands the moment. He's blessed with that ability to be able to score on 3 different levels. His speed, his understanding of the game, and also his teammates putting him in position as well. Because without Kobe and without Tyrese and Nick and those guys, they'll load up on him more. So when we got going, they had to really guard those guys because we can shoot the ball. So, but there's nothing really you can say more about what other than you already know. He's just a great player.
Penny, against a defense like Virginia, what does it take to get into that press in the second half and junk up that game? Is it as simple as just making shots, or is there more to it to be able to get into your press?
Well, today it wasn't about the first shot made. It was us starting and jump-starting the defense. They were at half court, and we started from there. And then we got that to get our energy going. And, man, it worked. It's worked like that in the past, and it worked again today, and we needed it today.
I'm not sure where number 10 for Virginia and Taine was on your scouting report coming in, but what did he do that was effective for them tonight?
Man, he was damn good tonight. His energy, he wasn't just a three-point shooter. He drove the ball. He posted. He's a really good player. And to be honest, we didn't talk a lot about Taine at all. And then he came in the game and affected the game in a major way. He's a really good player. I don't even know what year he is because he wasn't really on the scouting report. What year is he?
Senior.
I was a senior, but he played like a senior, and he was ready for his moment. and he played phenomenal. He's just shooting threes. He made the three to make us honest. He drove the lane, got to the free throw line. He did it all. I was impressed.
Coach, back-to-back wins on the road against ACC competition in venues that are difficult to play in. What have you learned about your team?
I've learned that we're just resilient and that, we just, the love these guys have for each other, they're never going to give in. They're around one another. This is the closest group that I've ever had, where they're everywhere they go, they're going as a bunch. They're talking all the time. They're in the gym all the time. So when they get into a battle, adversity hits, they stick together. They don't go apart. So that's what I've learned about this team. They're resilient.
With what PJ did in the second half, was that by design? Was that the message at halftime? Hey, it's time for you to take over this ballgame.
No, we knew when we did. I knew just from being a player that played the game and being in PJ's shoes that getting his energy up was going to get him going, and that's what happened. You can see it was a different look in his eyes in the second half. In the first half, it was kind of like, okay, when am I going to start doing my thing? The second half, he was up on the defensive side. He was scrambling, he was trapping, and he was rotating, and then that just kept him going, that energy going on the offensive end.
And how important is it, you talk about closeness, you got a three-headed monster, obviously, with Kobe Rogers and Tyrese Hunter, but how important is it for those guys to know when to take a small step back and let the hot hand go to work in PJ Haggerty?
Yeah, credit to them. They tell him the entire game to stay aggressive, no matter if they're the hot hands or not. So that's what I'm talking about, guys, that's really caring about the next guy. Because if I have it going, I want the ball. I'm hot, I want the ball. But when they're hot, they'll tell PJ, stay aggressive, don't worry about us. We'll get our shots wherever we can, and that usually doesn't happen that way.
Last two for Coach.
Couple more quick ones from me. Is there anything more encouraging about the way this season is going for you, besides the so many different ways you've won games and so many different types of teams that you've seen?
I understand what you're saying. It's a great question. Man, it's like I'm dreaming, to be honest with you, because this team is so coachable. They'll do whatever I ask, and that's a blessing to be able to have that. I've had great talent, but it's been like some separation. And for us, it's just the many ways that we've won lets me know that it's possible for us to be a champion on this level if we continue to just grow. And it's still a new team. 12 new players. Nick Jourdain is the only one back. And we're still learning with this difficult schedule. And, man, just winning those multiple ways. That's what great teams do. They find a way, and we're finding a way.
And then another big one Saturday. Is it the more you win, does it become more and more difficult to keep it just the next game? Like, do you have to stop yourself from envisioning what could be?
Yeah, I'll say yes. Because of our very tough non-conference, I think we're top 5 non-conference schedules in the country. Very difficult, very hard. It drains you every game, and you got to get back up again and play the next one. Another tough game. There aren't any Division IIs coming in. Now we got Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and they're both ranked to go home to after playing Clemson and Virginia on the road. So that's how I designed it. That's what we have to do. But you do have to guard against what if, because it's the human nature of how it goes.
Last one for Coach.
And you guys held Isaac McNeely to 5 points. His only 3 was right before the end of the first half. What did you guys do? What do you think you guys did well to hold him to only 5?
Well, we tried not to give him any open looks. And Tyrese showed lack of discipline on that last play and went for a steal. And all he needed to do was see a slither of the rim, and he made it. And I think that's what made us go into halftime and say, okay, no more. And that really allowed Taine Murray to get more buckets because we were so locked in on Isaac that we weren't going to give him a shot. We said we wanted his shot attempts to be under 5. If we did that, then we'd have the opportunity to win the game because he's so deadly.